Hey y'all, welcome to Wura's World. Today we have this double butterfly Shippuden look, but it's a two-parter, so make sure you subscribe and turn on my notifications so you don't miss the rest of the look. We're kind of back to makeup, kind of back to anime. It might be a mix of both today. But apparently you guys like when I talk, like in real time and not voiceovers. So I'm going to talk about something. Okay, I have one. God, some of these are like really difficult. Please, God. Oh my God, are you joking? Are you joking? Are you joking? Literally, before I went to bed, I thought about this and I'm like, if I pull this look, I'm gonna be sick. Like, not one butterfly, but two butterflies. I've never even done one. Okay, I'm just gonna go eat breakfast first because this is gonna take a while. Okay, so we've made a couple changes. I changed because this is probably what I'm going to be wearing for selfies, and like I don't want to risk the whole like up and down of anything. I did my base really quick and easy, honestly. I used this Fenty Beauty primer that I adopted from my mom before it ran out. This is the True Matte Pro Filter one. I also have my typical foundation that I always use, my MAC NW50 Pro Longwear Waterproof something. You know that I use this foundation for my contour. I also have my little NARS concealer that is somewhere. I'm like queen of losing stuff in my room, which is not that big. Anyway, my typical NARS concealer, and then this is my little blush palette. I used the pink one today because it's probably gonna be a real purple look, at least what I'm thinking is gonna happen. So yeah, just brows, carve that out, do your base, contour, blush, highlight. I used this illuminating powder finally. It's really just like a very loose highlight, I think. So I used some of that. This is in the shade Golden Bronze. I didn't use bronzer, but like I don't need to. I feel like bronzer is like opposite contour, like you do one or the other, I think. But anyway, this is gonna be a feat. My gosh, I like looked at a lot of different butterfly looks to try and understand how I might want to do this on my face. But what I'm thinking is that I will be using, surprise, if you follow me on Instagram, you already saw the reel that I did with it, but I finally got the Vivid palette, so I think I'm gonna stick to like this whole purple column for one of the butterflies. Let me turn that off. And then for the other column, I'm going to go in my Morphe palette and just use this black that I made a dent in the first day I got it. And then for outlining, another surprise, I got a whole bunch of Glam Weiss liners a couple weeks ago. So I think I'm going to use this purple tie-dye, which is from the retro set. And then this purple gelato is from the pastel set. And then you have the white Skate Date. And you have the black Disco Fever. So I think that should be enough. Like everything else is just like, it's colorful. I'm gonna have to fix that later. So yeah, this is two butterflies and not one. Partially because I just got this necklace and like if you can see it has two layers to it. So I'm like, that's pretty cute. And of course I've like seen a lot of butterfly looks on Instagram and I'm like, maybe it's for me. So I just had to one-up myself. I've never even done it, so we're just gonna come crazy from the jump. I think the way that I want to do it is that I want the outer butterfly to have the black shadow and like the colorful liner, and then the inner butterfly will be colorful shadow, black liner, which means I'm going to use a primer on the inside. Might as well. Yeah, primer on the inside, black liner, and then black shadow. Like, no need for a primer. And then I'm going to try and, like, ombre the liner. This is going to take me, like, 7 years. Well, so we're going to do all that. And then I'll do, like, the white, like, detailings on top. We're just literally winging it on the butterfly, like, look that we're going to do. But it's okay. It's going to be cute. I think my base came out really well. I just hope that it stays matte the whole time, because I didn't bake, just because we gotta keep this pushing. But yeah, I don't want to have to do anything once this is done besides my lip. I'm probably gonna do a nude brown, maybe a hint of red, just because I figured out how I like to wear red lipstick. But yeah, so I'm gonna be talking while I do my makeup, but honestly, if this starts to take too long, I'm gonna just, shoot and then speed it up so that y'all are not gonna sit here and watch me do my face for about 7 hours, legitimately. This is my little MAC paint pot, my favorite primer. I'm gonna try and keep it on like the outline that I did for the inner butterfly, and as long as, because I used eyeliner just to like stencil it out, as long as it doesn't mix, then I won't have to wipe it off. But if it does mix, we're just gonna have to start over. Okay, but I think I've explained all the products I'm gonna be using. So moving forward, I'm just gonna be talking about anime. Duh. Like I said, I was eventually going to be doing anime inspired looks. This is the first one. It is a butterfly because of choji. This is the moment that I referenced, it's mixing a little bit, in my last video. And this is gonna be like full of spoilers, so if you haven't seen Shippuden, I think I'm gonna like only talk about Shippuden today, but if you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend just like muting me and putting something else on while you watch, because I'm not keeping anything spoiler free this time. Also, my brain, if you've seen my videos, you know that this is just how it goes. It can be hard for me to talk and do this at the same time, so you might want to put me on like 1.5 speed, I don't know. But yeah, choji butterfly, because we saw him in Naruto and they was always just talking about his weight, and he had his cool moments, he's helping out his friends and stuff, but for the most part, like, it was just, oh, Choji's like fat, oh no, don't say that, and like that was the biggest piece of his character. I felt like you saw that like he was really nice and like in touch with his emotions and all that, but I just hadn't been super impressed by his character before then. Not that I like disliked him or anything, they just hadn't really given him much to be impressive with. And then it's the war. Honestly, I was really hurt when they reanimated all these people, including Asuma, and I'm like, okay, like he's definitely gonna run into his old team and it's gonna be painful because everybody loves him, as they should, and now they're gonna have to fight their old teacher. So when he pulls up and it's like Shikamaru and Ino are doing their best to just like keep their emotions in check, and Choji's like, nah, I cannot fight, dude, this is our teacher. Like, you just see how in touch he is with his emotions, and like literally when he was growing up, people are out here calling him a coward and stuff because he's so kind, and Asuma's like, nah, that's his strength, which I really appreciated and liked to hear. Yeah, so Asuma's like, nah, Don't sleep on Choji. This is a real one right here. And then you see Choji boss up and like tap into his strength. And then that's when he gets his chakra wings. And I'm like, oh, it's a butterfly. And funnily enough, I hadn't seen that scene when I ordered this. Yes, like I ordered it and then I watched that scene and I was like, butterflies must just be it. So that was really cool. I have a whole bunch of butterfly looks saved on Instagram to like try and reference. It's just like the drawing on top part that I'm the most curious about. Because everybody does it differently. So maybe I'm just going to do it however the heck I do it. Simple. So back to that. So you had Choji's scene. Very cool, very boss up. This is my moment kind of thing. So from there, I like knew that my first, well, at the time I was saying it was going to be my first look, but I'm like, okay, like one of my anime looks is going to be the double butterfly, but then I wanted to practice it before I like posted it anywhere. Clearly that didn't happen, but however this turns out, that's fine with me. That's low-key. I mean, that's what I'm going to do. It's like an ombre thing, but then do I want to put the darker color on the inside and the lighter color on the outside? Low-key, yes. So I'm going to do it like that. This is why sometimes it's fun to not have a plan. Yeah. So Choji, cool dude, bossed up, got really big after that, and is like over here handling the ghetto statue for a little bit anyway. Eventually that thing turned around and continued its path of destruction. Am I doing this right? It's okay. Y'all don't know what right is because I don't know what right is. Let me make sure. Yeah, because when you have hooded eyes, like things change when you move your face. So I want to make sure there's enough of like the actual wing when my eyes are closed. This is fine. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, so as I speak now, I'm not actually done with Shippuden. I will be doing another video later of just me talking and not me doing my makeup and talking. But it'll be like all my Shippuden thoughts. Okay, I've seen the whole thing. No more questions, just theories. And it'll be fun. But as of right now, Obito is like, we know that it's him. I really should have figured it out sooner. But like, it's okay. All of Kage might be dead. Or like in really critical condition. They like showed Tsunade cut in half and then they kind of just left it there. Yeah, so Kakashi is with Naruto. They're like trying to tag team Obito. Madara is just there being undead and causing a menace. You have Guy, you have Killer Bee, they're just like there. Sasuke, last time we saw him, he was like in the cave with like, what is his name? It's gonna come back to me. Zugetsu, something like that. The Shark Boy. And then Jugo. Sakura is somewhere being useless. And I think that's everybody that super matters right now. But yeah, so that's where we are with the show. We also had another kindness is strength moment with Itachi, who honestly is probably gonna be my favorite character. I also have a look in mind for him, but like, wow. The way that I went from hating dude to like him being my favorite, it's kind of crazy how they did that. Because you're over here like, number one, he murked his whole clan. Like, what was the reason? And then on top of that, he left his bratty little brother who's over here just being an ass to everybody. Like, why would he do all that? Give me a minute. Yeah, so you have Sasuke and Itachi in this little cave. This is reanimated Itachi. He's still dead, which is quite frankly the saddest thing ever. But I hated Itachi's guts until they revealed like why he was the way that he was, and he was like between a rock and a hard place. But it was really his clan that was moving crazy, and he was just doing what he could for the good of the village. But then he wanted to like save Sasuke because that's his little brother, but then Sasuke's a brat. Like, I think my real issue with Sasuke is that he's the most openly selfish. Like, any other character in Naruto, if there's a situation where they have to like pick somebody else's like happiness or safety or something like that, they're gonna pick the other person. But Sasuke's gonna do whatever the heck he wants, which is what he's been doing from the jump, and I'm tired. Like, I'm really tired. I understand it, I get it, but I don't like that kind of person in real life. So I don't like him like as a character. I don't know what's going to make him crack. If anything, he might just be an ass until the end. And I'll never like him. But I might have already decided to not like him. So it's cool though. Different strokes for different folks or whatever. Like, are the bottom wings the same size? So we're gonna go in next with the Colored Rain palette. Probably best to use a flat brush and just pack it. I'm gonna start on the outside since that's where I'm putting the lighter color. But yeah. So once they revealed what was really good with Itachi, I'm like, okay, bet. That's my man's now. But even with like all of his talks with Sasuke and like trying to tell him what's really good and explain that, oh no, like I did it for XYZ reasons and you don't have to go on a rampage against the Leaf Village anymore. Sasuke's like, I don't care about them. And you're just looking at this child like, what is it gonna take? What is it gonna take? But one of my friends made the argument that like Itachi being so kind is what allows Sasuke to like go through this process on his own versus Itachi trying to force Sasuke to see the truth or like see the error in his ways. Because like the way that Itachi was able to even get out of the reanimation jutsu, like that was supposed to be how they were gonna get Sasuke to change his ways, and he's like, nah, like I'm gonna just leave it up to you, Naruto, like you got it. But he really didn't want any of this to be by force, which I respect. I just feel like he deserves better, and I hope that at the end of everything everybody gets told the truth, even though that's definitely not what he wants. I don't really care. Like, he saved every single shinobi by breaking the reanimation jutsu, so I need everybody to name their firstborn child Itachi, because it's just what I need. So yeah, anyway, as they're down here talking in the middle of this huge fight, as they always do, like they're always talking when they're fighting, and I'm like, guys, focus. They're like, da da da. But my nose, I did that really cute. Oh, funnily enough, the name of this shade is Cute. So yeah, as they're talking, and Itachi's like, I think they were doing a lot of flashbacks during this conversation, but he's kind of explaining to Sasuke and to Kabuto, because at this point he has Kabuto in the izanami, which is just like this infinite loop, and like the only way out of it is to kind of like give up on the jutsu that you're doing, because izanami is like the counter jutsu to the izanagi, which is what Kabuto had been doing. And it's like if Kabuto were to see the error in his ways, he'd be able to get out of it. So Itachi's pretty much trying to explain how like you really just need to know yourself, because Kabuto's issue was that he was an orphan, and like he felt like he really had no genuine identity and had just been like used as a spy all this time. That's why he's back on his little rampage, causing such a ruckus, even though dude has just been a groupie from the jump. I don't really like Kabuto. I've never liked him. And I've been waiting for somebody to deal with him since Naruto, honestly. It felt a little bit anticlimactic, but I think that's because you also had like everything going on with Sasuke and Itachi at the same time, which I personally was a lot more hyped for and was more invested in that. So sorry, Kabuto. Oh, and then Orochimaru came back. And unfortunately, I knew that was gonna happen because I saw a meme and it was from Boruto, and it was talking like, I think it was Hinata talking to Orochimaru's kid or something. And I'm like, well, if he has a kid, that means he's not dead for real. So let's see how he comes back. And pretty much that's been like my whole journey. Just finding memes, finding tweets, putting two and two together, knowing who's gonna die, who isn't gonna die, stuff like that. I'm over it. But it did hurt it for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's really pretty how it's like oxidizing. I don't know if you can see how it's like, it's still a bit pink over here, but here it's starting to like turn purple. This is such a pretty palette on my skin. Honestly, like Lorraine did that, and you did it well. Lorraine is the woman who's in charge and responsible for Colored Rain. I need y'all to give her flowers, please and thank you. But back to anime. I like consistently go back and forth between the two. I'm so sorry. I'm not actually sorry. We're gonna get into that later. But to finish up, Itachi was really trying to hammer home the point that you need to know yourself, and that your strength comes from knowing yourself and being able to forgive yourself, and from knowing that, you know, there are things that you can do and there are things that you can't do. Because once you recognize what you can't do, that's when you know that you need to ask for help, which is what he was trying to get Naruto to realize. Because Naruto's like, no, I'm going to stop the war, and I'm going to save Sasuke, and I'm going to do all these things, even though, like, me and my Nine Tails were not even friends yet. But, like, I can do it. And it's like, dude, you need to be a little bit more realistic. And I just had to talk about this last night. Like, Itachi and Naruto are very similar in terms of, like, what they want and what their goals are. But Naruto is a bit more, like, emotions driven, and Itachi is a lot more logic driven. So them coming together is, like, a really good combination. But, like, when you look at it, it's like Naruto just be going. Like, he's the typical reckless MC who just has a goal, and he's gonna do everything necessary to try and achieve that goal. So this is coming out pretty, but that is a interesting parallel that I saw between Itachi and Naruto. Okay, we're at 25 minutes. Again, y'all didn't want a voiceover, so you're just gonna be shutting it up. Jeez Louise. So you have all that going on there. There's strength in kindness. There's strength in knowing yourself and thus being able to be kind to yourself. Because if you watched my self video, you heard me talk about self-compassion, self-acceptance, all that good stuff. And like it still applies, because it's like, how are you gonna be kind to yourself when you don't know? Like, how are you gonna, let's say it's Friday night, work week's over, school week's over, whatever it is that you're doing is over, it's time for the weekend, and you're like, I'm just gonna take myself on a little date, spend some time with me. Like, if you don't know that you respond really well to quality time and you just buy yourself a Cartier pinky ring, you're gonna be sitting there like, why am I not, where are the vibes? Like, why is this not doing what I wanted it to do? It's because you didn't know yourself to do the right thing. All you had to do was sit there and watch some anime, but you wanted to spend big money. Cause what? I don't really know how I feel about the dark color being on the inside right now, but we will figure that out later. Okay? It's gonna be fine. Really and truly. There's no guarantees that this is gonna come out presentable, and it might just be a fun video for us to all watch and laugh about, and then I'll just like recreate it later. But yeah, literally this whole video is very off the dome, and after I talk about tsunade, I can explain why. So like I said, you had tsunade and all the other kage just kind of there. I don't know if they're all dead. Maybe some of them die. Just because like it's war and people are gonna die. But with tsunade specifically, like right when the reanimation was broken, I was like looking and I'm like, whoa, wait. Like, Dan's here and he hasn't even like seen tsunade this whole time. Are they gonna make that happen? And then he does his little ghost jutsu and then is able to go see her, and it's like he's there like really just happy to see her, and she's trying to do like all the formalities and like tell him that she's been carrying out his dream, and because he wanted to be the Hokage, her little brother wanted to be the Hokage. She kissed both of them on the forehead and they both died. So sis has been out here feeling like super bad luck. And like back when she kissed Naruto on the forehead, I'm like, bro, if this boy dies, it's literally all your fault. But I'm pretty sure he's gonna be okay, seeing as there's a whole show about his kid. This would have been more fun if I was like watching it as a child, but I also would have been sick because like all this filler that I'm skipping, and then even like the flashbacks, whenever a flashback comes up, I'm just like plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. Like, I'm not watching this again, because they're just lifting entire scenes and putting them into the show again, and I'm like, guys, that's cheating. I don't need to watch this again. But that's what they want to do. Lucky, the bottom ring is just going to be 2 colors. It doesn't have to be the complete triple ombre. Just going to put the darker color on the inside again, and then I'm going to go on top of it again with cute coming in from the outside. So I've been using Perp Smurf for the darker purple. And then I'm going to use Vibes for my transition purple on my top lid. This is going well. I need another flat brush though, just because it's easier to pack. So yeah, Tsunade talking to Dan. This is like a lot more composed than I thought she would be, honestly. Because like all this time, he's been dead. She's been sad. Like, took her a long time to get over him. Even when Dry came back, like, they didn't really get into it just because, like, Dan was still a very important character to her. So when he finally does come back, even though like he's dead and will continue to be dead, he kind of gave her not like a green light, but he essentially told her that yes, like we have my dream, which is now our dream of being Hokage and protecting the village and all that, but like he said, you yourself are my dream, which is very specific. And I'm glad that he said that and not you are my dream, because you can hear that and take it to be like, oh, now that I'm the Hokage, this is why I'm like fulfilling his dream. He's like, no, like you, Tsunade, like period, that's it. Like whatever it is that you're doing, you are my dream. Like I don't want you to be caught up in being Hokage and doing what you think me and your little brother wanted you to do. Like I want you to do what you want to do, which is very freeing. And I think she needed that. Hopefully she like lives long enough to do anything about it, because this might be the end of the road for sis, honestly. Madara just out here, like when he first stabbed her, I was like, there's no way that he just killed her like that, because like what? I was not having it. So I'm glad she did her little 1,000 deaths, 100 deaths jitsu, whatever it's called, because nobody was ready for her to die. Nobody, even me. Okay, this is pretty. I'm just gonna do one more go on top of them with cute on the outside, because this is in fact very pretty. And then I'm gonna use Perp Smurf again on the inside. This is really cute. But yeah, Tsunade now has the green light to live her life the way that she wants to. Ideally, if Jiraiya wasn't dead, they would get it on, but he's dead, so I don't know what she's gonna do. Maybe she's dead too, and that's when Kakashi becomes Hokage, because I know that happens. Not mad about it at all. The whole thing with Itachi coming in, like, that was just to give Kakashi a break from carrying the entire show on his back. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Because Kakashi has been holding it down from the jump, like, been my favorite character, been mad cool, been mad smart. Like, if there's a spectrum of, like, being selfish and doing things for the sake of others, like, Kakashi is very smart and, like, very willing to do things for others. And then, like, Shikamaru is very smart, but, like, very vested in, do I actually want to do this? If I don't, then, like, it's clipped. Simple as that, which I respect. I talked about this a bit in my last video, but, like, just because they need you to do XYZ, do you need you to do XYZ? And, like, there really just has to be a balance between doing things because you want to and doing things because other people want you to. Again, when I, like, close my eyes a bit, you can still see it pretty well. So the plan for the liner for this butterfly is that, like, you can see that my hood kind of covers it, so I'm just gonna do the liner on top of the hood and then follow the butterfly. So, like, whether it's like this or like this, like, it's gonna look good. But now I'm gonna do the black shadow. Yeah, black shadow and then liner, because I don't want to do the liner. I guess if it's gonna be black liner, it's okay. No, I'm gonna do black liner first. Black shadow first, sorry. You be thinking you have all the brushes you need, and then you don't.
So yeah, that was just part 1. Next week I'll be doing the liners, but
Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all had fun, and stay tuned for next week.